Howdy friends and neighbors, this is Saundra out at Sheraton Park Farms, and we are in the kitchen today. And there's a lot going on. We're going to be doing some pork barbecue, we're going to be doing chicken pot pie, and we're also going to be doing what I call steak and gravy. And as you can see, we've got our 2 big crock pots out here and our Instant Pot. And what's going on here is we've got a couple of family members that are a little under the weather. My mom, who lives down in Winston-Salem, North Carolina, had a fall a couple of days and she broke her ankle. So we're fixing a few meals to take down there to her this afternoon, which is Friday. And then Chuck's grandmother, Granny Laurie, had a little surgery a couple, 3 days ago. She's at home now. But she called and had a couple of requests, and so we're going to be making some bread for her, and of these 3 pots we're going to be taking some of this up to her also tomorrow, which will be Saturday. So y'all stick with me here, there's a lot going on and we'll see how it works out. So by far, our easiest thing that we're fixing today is our barbecue. And what I've done is I've taken 2 fairly good sized Boston butts here. One of them's 5 pounds and one of them's 4. And it's still frozen. And I've just stuck them in the crock pot here, and I'm just going to let them go all day. And then I'll make another round of barbecue sauce like I made on a video the other day, and take it down just like that. We'll shred the meat, take them some barbecue sauce, and all you got to do is mix it up in a bowl, throw it in the microwave for about a minute, and you got a really nice barbecue sandwich. So this is our easiest meal that we're making today. And this will take probably about 6 hours to cook down and be ready to go. So the first thing I'm going to work on is my steak and gravy. And used to, before we started our farm, I would make this and buy the Campbell's cream of chicken soup and the cream of mushroom soup, which goes in this recipe. And I would also buy the dry onion mix. But anymore, I've got to where I make those myself. And that way, you know, it doesn't have any of the preservatives or anything like that in it. So I've got to make my dry onion soup mix. And to do that, I've got to have some beef bouillon powder. And so I've got my recipe here, and that's the first thing I'm going to do, is make my beef bouillon powder. So it takes 3/4 of a cup of dry mustard, which is going to be basically probably this whole can. Yeah. This is going to take this whole can of dry mustard or ground mustard. And I've already got some chicken bouillon powder. I could use it, but I'm gonna make me a little beef bouillon. So there's that. 1/3 of a cup of garlic powder. And I use the granulated garlic, not the real fine powdery stuff. And that's a lot of garlic. All right. 1/3 cup of paprika. And that's all of that one. Three tablespoons of onion powder. This is my 1/2 tablespoon. 3 tablespoons of chili powder. And 1 tablespoon of celery seed. And so that's my beef bouillon powder. And now we'll make our dry onion soup mix. Okay, so now I'm going to make my dry onion soup mix. And what we do is we start with 1 cup of dried onions, onion flakes. And then it's 3 teaspoons of onion powder. There we go. And 4 tablespoons of our beef bouillon powder that we just made. 4 tablespoons, excuse me. Alrighty, and as you can see, I've got too small of a bowl here. I'm going to switch bowls out. And the one thing that I don't have that this recipe calls for is some celery salt. I don't know why, I just don't have it. I've used it all, I guess. So we're not really going to worry about that. And what you'll notice here is that I've not used any salt at all in this mixture. Either one of these mixtures that I've just made. And that's the beauty of these recipes, is you can control the salt content. And you can keep the preservatives out of it. You can make it the way you want it. And that's what I like about this. Alright, so we've got our dry onion soup mix here. So the next thing I'm going to do is cut up some onion. And this recipe calls for quite a bit of onion. And what we're going to be doing is layering our ingredients. So we'll put a layer of meat down. Then we'll put a layer of chopped onions. Then a layer of our dry onion soup mix. And then a layer of our cream of mushroom and cream of chicken soup. And I'll show y'all how that works with all these homemade powders here in just a minute. Alright, so we're going to take our chicken out here and let it be cooling off so we can get the meat off the bones. So I'm going to be in my pressure cooker over here. I'm fixing 2 chickens because they're both pretty small, and 1 pack of leg quarters. So this chicken, it might weigh 3 pounds. And so the time on the pressure cooker or the Instant Pot will be about 35, 40 minutes. So I'm going to set it for 45 minutes because I've got this 3-pound chicken, and then I've got 2 pounds worth of leg quarters. So there's that chicken. I've already done the first one. You saw me taking it out of the packaging, or out of the pot. And then we're going to do this pack of leg quarters, and this other chicken, we'll run it for 45 minutes. Excuse me. And then this will be ready to pull off the bone to make our chicken pies. And as you can tell, I'm putting these in the Instant Pot straight out of the freezer. The Instant Pot does a wonderful job of cooking chicken straight out of the freezer. I mean, it is awesome. I don't know any other way I want to do it now. So we'll put the lid on here. And we're going to set this pot to pressure cook for 45 minutes. And that's all we got to do. Make sure it's on cook and not vent, and just let it go. And now my next thing for the roast is I'm using a couple of London broils here, and I'm going to take one of them and cut it into chunks and lay it out on my board, and then we're going to sprinkle it with onion powder and garlic powder. And now my next thing for the roast is I'm using a couple of London broils here, and I'm going to take one of them and cut it into chunks and lay it out on my board, and then we're going to sprinkle it with onion powder and garlic powder. I really like using London broil for this recipe. It's very tender, and it turns out great. So I'll lay these out like this. And we'll sprinkle both sides with a little onion powder and garlic powder. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this first layer down in the pot here. And I'm going to turn the side that has the seasoning on it down. I'm going to try to get it into one layer. And then we'll season the other side. Oops. I'm glad that was the onion powder, not the garlic powder. Okay, next thing we'll do is put a layer of our dry onion soup mix down into the pot on top of the meat. And we'll put about half of it on there. And then I'm going to use my mix of, this is called cream of anything soup. That's it. And the recipe calls for 1/3 cup of this mix with 1 1/3 cups of liquid. So each layer gets the equivalent of 1 can of cream of chicken and 1 can of cream of mushroom soup. So I'm going to do 2/3 cup of my powder. over top of this first layer of meat. And then I'm going to use my pork broth that I run through the freeze dryer. So this is pork broth that's been dried. And I'm going to use about 1/3 cup of it per can, so we'll use 2/3 of this. And then we're going to put in about 2.5 cups worth of water. And this is my 1/2 cup. And then one other thing that I'm going to put in this that I think will make it turn out really nice is some freeze-dried mushrooms. So that makes our cream of mushroom soup flavor. And these are cremini mushrooms that I ran through the freeze dryer. Okay, now I'm going to take my other roast, cut it up, and we'll do the same thing again. Onion powder and garlic powder on this, and we won't do as much on these because I put so much on that first layer. Let's see, and I need to put some onion on this too. So I've got my chopped onion. I just about forgot it. I'll do half my onion in here also. And then we'll just repeat the process with our dry onion soup mix and our cream of anything. And then this is our pork. I don't want to call it bouillon, it's stock, pork stock. And then the rest of our onion. And a little more water. And I'm not going to put quite as much water in it this time because that meat will make quite a bit of liquid. I'm just going to add 1 more cup of water. There we go. Add a few of our mushrooms. And that's it. And if you'll notice, I've not put the first salt in this. And I will leave the salting until this is done and ready, and then we'll salt it at the very end. And that'll take about 6 hours. Okay, we're going to start working on our chicken pie now, and the first thing I'm going to do is take the meat off the bones here. And as you can see, the Instant Pot cooked this chicken just extremely well. And it takes hardly no time. From completely frozen to completely cooked in 45 minutes. And this is a 5.5 pound chicken. And it's still hot. Man. Get all the meat off the back. Okay, now just as soon as this other chicken is done, we'll do the same thing with it. So we're going to go ahead and get started on our chicken pie now. And I'm going to put some butter in the bottom of my pan. And we're going to saute some onion and garlic. And while that's coming up to temperature, I'm going to go ahead and add my herbs and salt and pepper. So I'm going to add a little oregano to this. And a little parsley. And I think that's about it. And while that's sauteing, we're going to cut up our chicken. Most of this is already cut up enough, but I'm going to go through it and make sure it's chunked up pretty good. There we go. Alright, now the next thing I'm going to do is add some mixed vegetables. And these are some that I have had freeze dried for about 6 months. And I'm going to add just a little bit of my chicken. No, I'm not going to do that yet. Next thing I'm going to do is add my chicken in with this stuff. Add just a little bit of stock. And then off camera for a little while ago, I did some rolls from the bread recipe that Megan gave me. So I've got some dinner rolls here. I'm going to put them in the oven. Right now I'm going to add my flour. This is what's going to thicken up my stock and make our gravy for our chicken pie. And I know this looks really dry, but it's supposed to. And once we get all of this flour incorporated, we'll add our chicken stock. And that'll make a really nice gravy. And I need about 6 cups of chicken stock, and I don't think this is going to be enough. But we'll work it up and see here. Turn the heat up a little. And I'm also going to add about a cup of heavy cream. Now that chicken stock that I just added, that came out of my Instapot where I pressure cooked those chickens. There's just a little more salt. Pepper. I'm going to give it just a little bit of paprika. And that was a hot paprika, so I didn't use very much of it. Okay, I think we're right here. So I'm going to turn this down, and we'll get our pans ready.
You need to lift and pour.
Please. Got to call in some support here. Let's do this one first. Hold it.
This one?
Turn you. There you go.
Like this?
Mm-hmm. Hold it. Thank you, baby.
Mm-hmm.
Alright, here's our chicken pie filling, and now we'll make some biscuits to go on top. So here's my chicken pie ready to go. I went ahead and made some biscuits off camera. And one of these will be going to my mom, and one will be going to Granny Laurie. And now I think our pork is ready. We're going to take it out of the pan and pull it and see how it's looking. Let's get this pork out of the slow cooker and see how it's doing. Oh yeah, well no, not quite. It needs just a little bit longer to go. It'll almost pull, but it's got just a little bit of resistance to it. So I'm gonna let it go a little longer. Okay, now we're going to check our steak and gravy. It's been going about 5 hours. And it is looking really good. Very nice. I may add just a little bit of water to this. About a cup and a half of water to that. And we'll just let her keep going. And for my chicken pies here, this one is for Granny Lori and Chuck's mama, Joyce. And what I'm going to do is just cover it really good with some saran wrap and then a piece of aluminum foil, and I'm going to just stick it in the refrigerator. And I'm going to take it up there to their house tomorrow to bake it. And I'm going to do the same thing with this one. Now this one is going to Winston-Salem with me this afternoon. And I don't want to bake it until I get down there because I think it's best when it's really fresh. So I'm going to wrap it really good and put it in a box to go down the road with, just in case it wants to slosh out, but I don't think it will. And the plastic wrap just keeps the biscuits from drying out on top. And then we'll put some aluminum foil on top of that. All right, one's ready for the fridge and one is ready to go down the road. Okay, so our pork is ready now, so I'm gonna take it out here and kind of pull it apart as I do. Yes, I think I am. Yeah, that's some good looking stuff. Just pulls right apart, which is exactly what we want to see. And this has been going about 5 hours, I believe, maybe 6. So the only thing left in this pot now is fat and bones. Oh yeah, this is pulling apart very nicely. So you can see this is pulling apart really easily. Alright, let this sit and cool off a little bit. Very good. Okay, so I think I'm ready to go here for today. This is my steak and gravy. This is the chicken pie. And here is a container full of the barbecue. This is the barbecue sauce. I've got some rice here and some chicken stock powder that I'm going to take with me to make some rice to go with the chicken pie for tonight. And then here are the rolls that I made that will go with the steak and gravy. So I've got 3 meals here ready to go to take to my mom. So yeah, it's been a good day. And I think Chuck is in the shower. He's getting ready. We're getting ready to go here. So it's been a great day. So we'll see you on the next video. Thanks for watching.